Contoso would like to create a custom sensitive information type to detect content related to important programs and projects. This Excel workbook shows the standard structure for the program numbers. They all start with the letters PROJ, then there is an underscore, and the program number ends with 4 numeric digits. Let's close Excel and create a sensitive information type based on this pattern. Here we are on the Sensitive Info Types tab in Data Classification. Let's click on Create Info Type to get started. The first step in the Create Info Type wizard is to give it a name. Let's call it Program Numbers. Let's enter a description. Then click Next. You must add a matching element. This is the sensitive info that this type will look for. Let's click on Add an element. Let's look at the drop-down list under Detect Content Containing to see what our options are. We see there are 3 options: keywords, regular expression, and dictionary. Let's select regular expression. Now I can tell Microsoft 365 what the regular expression looks like. It is going to be the letters P, R, O, J, then an underscore. Following that will be 4 numeric characters. Let's type that in using regular expression syntax. After doing that, let's click on Add Supporting Elements. To increase the accuracy of detection, you can optionally add multiple supporting elements. When the matching element is detected, at least one supporting element must be found within the specified proximity of the matching element. The selections for supporting elements are similar to what we had for matching element. Let's select Contains this keyword list. We'll add Program to the keyword list. We'll leave the minimum count to 1. That means the keyword only needs to be found once for a match to occur. You can add more supporting elements, if desired. Changing the confidence level is also an option, as is modifying the character proximity. Let's keep the defaults, and click Next. We have one final chance to review our settings for this custom sensitive information type. Once everything looks good, we'll click on Finish. Next, we have the opportunity to test the new program numbers sensitive information type. Let's click No for now and test it later. That returns us to the Sensitive Info Types page. Let's click on Publisher to change the sort order. Sorting on Publisher brought the sensitive information type we created to the top of the list. Now it's time to test it. Let's select Program Numbers. It's important to test your custom sensitive information types to ensure they are producing the results you expect. You can even test the sensitive information types built into Microsoft 365, and create new custom types, based on the built-in types. Let's click on Test Type to get started. You should have at least 2 files to conduct your testing. One you are expecting to produce positive results and the other you are expecting to produce negative results. We'll just be using a single, positive results, test file this time. Let's choose, click to browse. We'll select the file with the program numbers that was open at the start. Let's click on FY20 Programs. Then click Open. Once the file is selected, we'll click Test. The results of the test are displayed. We see the items in the file that match the regular expression on the left. And we see the supporting elements on the right. Once we conduct a similar test with a file that produces negative results, we should be ready to use this new sensitive information type in our policies. Let's click Finish. Then we'll hit Close to return to the Sensitive Info Types list. We just created and tested a new sensitive information type called Program Numbers. Sensitive information types are a powerful data classification tool. They can be used by themselves, or as part of a policy you create to protect and govern your data. Data classification using trainable classifiers is useful when content is not easily identified using pattern matching, like customer records, human resources data, and contracts. Trainable classifiers apply the power of artificial intelligence and machine learning to find data that needs to be tracked, protected, and governed. You train the classifier to identify an item based on what it is, instead of by the elements in the item. Microsoft 365 comes with 5 built-in classifiers ready for you to use: resumes, source code, harassment, profanity, and threat. You can also train your own classifier when the built-in classifiers do not meet your needs. The screen shows a list of built-in and trainable classifiers already created. They are grouped by in progress and ready to use. The EU training classifier under in progress has a status of need test items. This means Microsoft 365 has processed all the seed content provided during classifier creation to identify similarities and build a prediction model. The status of service agreements is in test and review. This means Microsoft 365 has been fed another content set consisting of samples that should fall into the category, and samples that will not. This content is in the process of being analyzed and reviewed. Let's look at this in more detail by clicking on Service Agreements. This page provides information on the status of the Service Agreements classifier. The right side of the screen shows some details about the classifier. We see the location where the seed content is stored, the number of seed items processed, and more. The training process section shows the training status based on 3 steps. The first is add items to test the classifier. Second is review items to improve classifier accuracy. The third step is publish the classifier. The first step in the process, add test items to test the classifier, is done, with a total of 226 test items having been provided. We are now in the process of reviewing those test items to improve the accuracy of the classifier. 61 items have been reviewed thus far. We also see publishing the classifier is not recommended. We can click on Review More Items to increase accuracy, to continue our evaluation of the predictive model. The classifier accuracy of 94.1% is based on how often you agree with the classification predictions made by Microsoft 365 when conducting your reviews. The more predictions you agree with, the higher the number will be. Let's return to the Trainable Classifiers page and look at a classifier ready for use. Now that we are back on the Trainable Classifiers page, we'll click on Conchoso Contracts in the Ready to Use section. In this example, the classifier has been completely trained and published. 400 items were added for testing, and 228 of them have been reviewed, resulting in an accuracy of 99.6%. Since this trainable classifier has been published, it will be available as a condition when auto-applying a retention label policy in the Information Governance and Records Management solutions. It will also be available for use in the Communication Compliance solution.